Hello, everyone. Welcome to our last week of and last string of chapters for our Firehawk book. I am going to read chapters 11 through, I believe it's 15 or 16. And we're going to find out finally, it's chapter 15. And we're going to find out finally what happens and how this adventure that we began, back in the beginning of our first grade year finally comes to an end before you start your second grade year. So enjoy the readings today and let me know your thoughts about how things end up, and I hope you enjoy. Thank you. All right, chapter 11, Not Alone. The green and brown cloud looked like thousands of leaves floating on the wind. The buzzing grew louder. Is that more of Thorn's spies? Skyla asked. No, Tag's eyes widened. It's the Grumblebees. Hooray! Skyla cheered. So now we see the Grumblebees coming back to help us. Tag looked around. In the trees, squirrels attacked prickle ants. Badgers and beavers and rabbits fought a mega beetle below, and the owls of Valor battled tiger bats in the sky, while Thorn and Gray fought with magic on the forest floor. The Grumblebees swarmed around their tiger bats. They attacked with their sharp stingers until the tiger bats fled. The owls of Valor joined the creatures fighting the mega beetle. The Grumblebees didn't come alone, Skyla said. Look! I bet you guys know who they brought with them. Two large bears came crashing through the trees. Hank and Herbert are here, Tag said. Thump, thump. The bears stomped at the ground. The prickle ants scurried away before getting squished. Thorn continued to battle Gray, and now Maximus joined their fight. Blaze still stood alone in the center of Valor Wood. She seemed frozen in place. Quick! Tag told Skyla. The path to Blaze is clear. They hurried down the tree near Blaze. Be careful, Skyla whispered. We don't want Blaze to turn us into toast. So if we remember, Blaze now has the orange eyes, which means that she's the spy. So they're trying to hopefully get her back to their side, or to the good side. Try not to startle her, Tag replied. They crept closer. Going somewhere? The gray wolf snarled, stepping in between the friends and Blaze. Tag held out his dagger. Let us pass, he shouted. The white wolf appeared. Why would we do that? Suddenly, the ground beneath the wolves shifted. The wolf's paws sank into the dirt. What's happening? The wolf cried. Dirt started to sink and rise all around them until they were surrounded by earth mounds. A head popped up. Hello, a voice said. Monty, Skyla cried. You're here. Looks like we got here just in time, Monty replied. Tag stepped back as more heads popped up. Moles and the seals from the crystal caverns climbed out. Coralie! Skyla called. The young seal waved as the seals and moles cornered the wolves. Come on, Tag said. Let's save Blaze. So now we see almost all the characters coming back. And that's awesome that Coralie's back too. I wasn't sure if she would be able to be. Now they can focus on Tag. Now they can focus on Blaze. Chapter 12, Saving Blaze. Tag and Skyla hurried over to Blaze. She stood as still as a statue, staring into space. Blaze, Tag said softly, do you remember us? Blaze slowly shook her head. We're your friends, Tag said. We can help you. Blaze looked over at Thorn. He can find my family, she said. You can't trust Thorn, Skyla said. He's your enemy. Tag nodded. Please let us help you. Blaze narrowed her eyes. Give me the Ember Stone, she said in a cold voice. Thorn only wants to use it and you to destroy Paradise, Tag replied. Blaze's feathers lit up one by one. Dark shadows of orange and yellow and red. I bet you know what it means if she's talking with them and her feathers are lighting up. She's probably getting angry. Watch out, Tag, Skyla said, pulling Tag's wing. She's getting upset. Wait, Tag said. He reached into his sack and pulled out the ember stone. It's glowing! Tag held the stone as it burned brighter. He didn't let go, even as his feathers sizzled. He showed it to Blaze. Thorn wants to use the ember stone to hurt the creatures of Paradise, but you could use it for good. You are good and kind, Skyla said. You are our friend. Blaze stared at the bright ember stone. Her orange eyes shone. So this is her when they were talking with her. On the last page that I forgot to show you. Just keeping you on your toes. Tag's wing felt like it was on fire, but he wouldn't let go of the stone. Remember who you are, Tag said. You are a firehawk. Blaze screeched loudly. She grabbed the glowing ember stone and knocked Tag to the ground. Blaze, no! Skyla shouted. Tag jumped to his feet as Blaze flew toward Thorn, holding the ember stone in her beak. Chapter 13, Family. The ember stone glowed brighter than ever. The light filled Velour Wood. Everyone, even Gray, Maximus, and Thorn, stopped fighting to look. Thorn's dark eyes glittered as he stared at the stone. Blaze dropped it in front of him. Thorn reached out to touch the hot stone, but he drew back his wing. Skyla gasped. Thorn can't touch the ember stone. Blaze is the only one powerful enough to hold it and control its magic. Thorn narrowed his eyes. I might not be able to use the stone, he said, but Blaze is a friend of mine now. She's not your friend, Skyla shouted. Before Tag could stop her, Skyla shot an acorn, hitting Thorn's head. Thorn hissed, but he turned his attention back to Blaze. Blaze, he said, we can do anything together with the ember stone, and my shadow, Paradoia, will be ours. Just then, Gray stepped forward. Blaze does not want to destroy Paradoia. It's interesting that Thorn can't touch or use the stone, especially because he acts so powerful. Gray turned to Blaze. Remember where you came from, he told her. You don't need Thorn. You have the power to save Paradoia. Fight against the spell, Blaze, Skyla shouted. You are stronger than you think, Tag added. Blaze ignored her friends and looked to Thorn. Thorn tapped his claws on the ground. Blaze is mine, he said. The whole of Paradoia will soon be Shadowland, and you will all work for me. Gray narrowed his eyes, then looked around at his tiny army. Creatures of Paradoia, we cannot defeat Thorn now that he has Blaze and the Ember Stone in his side. Run! Some animals scattered, but the Nixies, owls of lore, seals, grumblebees, and bears stayed where they were. We're not going anywhere, Tag said. Owls of lore, get ready! Thorn laughed a horrible laugh that echoed around the forest. Blaze, he ordered. Destroy Velour Wood. So they're all tired now, but they're not leaving because they're willing to fight. I wonder why they're so willing to fight. Blaze's feathers lit up. She picked up the ember stone and spread her flaming wings, preparing to shoot giant firebolts at Velour Wood. The light from the stone grew even brighter. She opened her beak. No! Tag shouted as he leapt onto Blaze's back as she took to the air. Blaze swooped up and down, trying to throw Tag off, but held on tightly, even though Blaze's feathers burned hotter and hotter. Blaze! Tag shouted. Please, remember who you are. Blaze's feathers were so hot now that Tag could not hold on any longer. We're more than friends, Tag called out as he finally let go. We're family! Tag landed beside Skyla. Together, they watched Blaze circle Velour Wood, getting closer and closer until... Zoom! Blaze shot a firebolt at Thorn, knocking him to the ground. She turned and smiled at Tag. Her eyes were blue again. This is for my family, Blaze called as she headed up into the dark heart of the shadow. So it sounds like reminding Blaze that she wasn't just a friend, she was family. What might have been the answer? The final fight. Tag hugged Skyla. Thorn's spell is broken, he said. But what is Blaze doing? Skyla asked. Tag gazed up at the sky. Blaze swooped in and out of the shadow, her feathers in the ember stone glowing brightly. Lightning crashed all around her. I think Blaze is fighting the shadow, Tag said. She knows if she can destroy the shadow, then Thorn will be powerless. No! Thorn was shrieking, pulling himself up. His tail feathers were smoking. Thorn blew into the air, but Blaze shot another fireball, throwing him back to the ground. Gray and the owls of lore surrounded him. Spies! Thorn called out. Help me! But Thorn's spies did not move to help him. Their orange eyes didn't seem as bright anymore, Tag thought. I wonder what's happening. Just then, Blaze let out a cry so loud it made the earth shake. Tag's friends trembled. Blaze continued to attack the shadow, her wings burning so brightly that she looked like a ball of fire. Lightning struck her wings but bounced off. She's focusing on her powers, Tag cried. Boom! A sudden explosion filled the air. Look out! Skyla cried, pulling Tag to the ground. The dark cloud of the shadow swirled in the air. It was dragged away from Thorn, growing smaller as it was swallowed up by the ember stone. Soon there was nothing left but the glowing stone, which fell to the ground. Blaze swooped through the now bright blue sky. She did it! Tag cried. Blaze used her powers all together. The whole of Valor Wood cheered. So Blaze was able to focus and use all of her powers together, and it seemed like that's what she needed. The air sparkled with magic. Fresh grass and colorful flowers started to grow on the ground. Trees bloomed with green leaves again. The nearby stream was filled once again with sparkling blue water. Attack! Thorn screeched at his army. But the spies did not attack. They blinked if they had just woken up from a dream. Their eyes were no longer orange. They were all under Thorn's spell, Skyla said. So it sounds like these creatures didn't even remember being under Thorn's spell. Do you see how sparkly and glittery and just happy everything is now? This is your fault! Thorn pointed a wing at Tag to blast him with magic. But nothing happened. Thorn quickly grabbed a dropped sword. Tag pulled out his dagger. Tag! Skyla cried. Gray held her back. Excuse me. Tag can do this, he said. Tag ducked and dived as Thorn attacked. He flew over Thorn's head. Thorn spun around, but Tag was quicker. He circled Thorn faster and faster until Thorn became so dizzy he fell over. Then Tag held his dagger at Thorn's chest. You have lost, Tag told Thorn. You have no shadow, no magic, and no army. Blaze is our family. She always has been. Thorn looked at his spies, but they were no longer under his control. He had lost everything. And who do we see is the one who finally defeat Thorn. We see that it was Tag, which is interesting if we think back to the beginning, if we try to connect those two things. Tag looked at Gray, who nodded and stepped forward. Thorn, Gray said, you are banished from Valor Wood and Paradise forever. You will not be spared a second time if you return. Thorn glared at Tag. The air suddenly grew cold, and Tag shivered. Oh, excuse me. You will see me again, little owl, Thorn growled. Finally, Thorn flew away. A single golden feather dropped from the sky. Skyla picked it up as it landed. We did it, Tag whispered, placing the cold emberstone in his sack. We defeated Thorn. He looked at the sky. Where's Blaze? Over here, Nova called. Blaze laid in the center of the clearing. 100 sparkling golden lights covered over her, but Blaze was still silent. Uh-oh. What do we think happened to Blaze? All right, last chapter. Chapter 15. The Nixie's Song. Tag and Skyla hurried over to where Blaze was lying on the ground. Blaze? Tag whispered. King Nidus smiled at Tag. Blaze saved Paradaya. Now we will save Blaze. The Nixies held hands as they flew in a circle above Blaze. Their wings glittered like golden starlight, and they hummed a lively tune. This song should wake Blaze up, Nova said. Please be okay, Blaze. Please be okay, Tag thought. Peep! Tag's heart jumped. Peep! Blaze called, a bit louder this time. Blaze blinked her eyes in the sun. Blaze! Tag said. I'm so glad you're okay. You did it, Blaze, Skyla said. You saved Paradaya. She helped Blaze to her feet. So it sounds like the Nixie song was all she needed. And just like King Nova said, she saved Paradaya, and now it's their turn to save Blaze, because they're a family. Maximus stepped forward. He held a wing out to Tag and said, You and your friends saved Paradaya. Maybe you have what it takes to be an hour of Valor one day, after all. Tag shook his wing, and Maximus smiled. That night, they held a big celebration. Friends from near and far came together for a magical feast. There was even a surprise guest. Sorry I'm late, Thaddeus the turtle said, slowly as he entered the clearing. Tag laughed and led his old friend to the celebration. I wonder why the turtle was late. Gray, Tag said as they were eating. Could there be more firehawks? I suppose it is possible that they are hiding in a faraway magical kingdom, Gray said, but I have seen no proof of this. If my family are out there somewhere, Blaze said, I need to find them. Well, Thorn was right about one thing. These golden feathers are firehawk feathers, Skyla replied. She held up the 2 feathers she had found, plus the one Thorn had dropped. They could be a clue. Blaze said. There are 3 feathers, and I needed 3 powers to unlock the Ember Stone's magic. I wonder what would happen if I held these. So here we have Thaddeus finally coming in, and then Skyla holding the 2 feathers. Skyla handed the feathers to Blaze. Blaze held the golden feathers in her beak. They started to glow. Blaze's eyes turned gold for a moment. Blaze? Tag asked. What's happening? Blaze smiled. I know where to find my family, she said. The feathers have shown me the way. Tag grinned. Who's ready for another adventure? He asked. And that's the end. We're done. That was the end. Ta-da! I cannot believe that we have finally finished the adventure, that Valorwood is finally safe, that Thorn is gone, and that all of his spies are now just back to the normal creatures that they are. I loved this ending. I think that it really wrapped things up well. It gave us some answers as to, what was going to happen when Blaze finally was able to use all of her powers, and, what happened when Thorn finally didn't have his shadow, and the fact that that was what was giving him power, and once it was taken away, he had nothing else. And the rest of our friends are also safe too, which I think is great. I also love that they left the end of this book on a cliffhanger, which means there could be more books, or the author just wants to kind of leave you wondering and thinking about what these friends might be up to now, or what they might be up to, in a few weeks or whatnot. And if there's another book that comes out, I'll try to let everyone know, just so that they can keep up on their own, or you guys can keep up on their own. But thank you for watching. Thank you for being patient with me as I fit seeing you guys and connecting with you guys into my summer schedule and routine. and I hope that you've enjoyed them and my summer attire and my, maybe messy hair or some yawns because I'm tired in the afternoon apparently. Anyway, please continue to take good care this summer. Continue to read, do things that are good for your heart and your mind, but also your soul and, of course, your tummy. I actually recently found this awesome combination of fresh watermelon with a little bit of lemon squeezed on top. It tastes like watermelon lemonade. I definitely recommend it if you like watermelon and if you can eat it. But regardless, or anyway, thank you for viewing, thank you for watching, and continuing to stay connected with me throughout the summer. As always, I miss you, and please let me know if you need anything.